So we have seen till now what would be the conditions on G for different sector nonlinearities. The sector nonlinearities that we had considered was 0 to infinity, then k1 to infinity, 0 to k2, and k1 till k2. Okay, all these we had seen for the fact that wherever k1 k2 appear, they are positive quantities, and if k1 k2 both appear, then k1 is less than k2. That's how we had seen. Now what? And we had also seen the circle criterion that is applicable to the transfer function g when these nonlinearities are this sector nonlinearities are there, the sectors are there. So now question is, if one of these is negative, let's say that k1 k2 is k1 is negative but k2 is positive, or you have a sector that is from so what if the sectors that we want to see are something of this form? Sorry, should write it the other way, where k1 is negative but finite, or what if the sector that we want is of this form? But again, k2 is negative but finite, or what if you have the k1 k2 sector where k1 is negative, k2 is positive, and they are all finite. And similarly, for a sector where k1 and k2 are both negative yet finite. Okay, so what would be the loop transformation that is involved, and what will be the condition on the transfer function g so that the feedback interconnection has a exponentially stable origin, and what would be the circle criterion that would be applicable to this transfer function g for the corresponding sectors? This is a question that we would like to answer in today's discussion here. Okay, so we'll first see what the loop transformations are applicable, and then we'll see once we have identified the loop transformation and the condition on the transfer function g, then we'll see how, I mean, what would be the applicable circle criterion for such sectors. We'll start with the first sector nonlinearity, where psi is a nonlinearity belonging to the sector minus infinite to k1, where k1 is a finite negative constant that we have. So this essentially is a sector where the slope k1 is essentially negative. So we have the negative slope line here, and everything that is in this sector, every nonlinearity that lies in this yellow shaded sector will be considered as a sector nonlinearity in the sector minus k infinity to k1. For example, the nonlinearity psi might be looking something of this particular form. So if you observe here, what we have is xi multiplied by k xi minus phi, k1 xi minus phi is greater than equal to 0. Because of this, if psi tilde is a nonlinearity whose input is xi and output is k1 xi minus phi, then this nonlinearity psi tilde will belong to the 0 infinity sector. Okay, so this psi tilde is basically a transformation of the nonlinearity psi that such that the transformed nonlinearity lies in the 0 infinity sector. So how can we get psi tilde from psi? So let's say that we have the nonlinearity psi with the input to be xi and output to be phi. So in this case, to get the nonlinearity psi tilde, we multiply xi by k1, multiply phi by minus 1, and then add both of them to get k1 xi minus phi. So everything inside this red dashed box together form the transformed nonlinearity, which is psi tilde. Now with this transformation, how would the loop transformation be such that we get an equivalent system, or we get a transformation for the LTI system as well. Okay, so the original nonlinearity that we had was the LTI system G with the nonlinearity psi in the feedback. So this system is equivalent to, we have the psi tilde being formed out of the psi nonlinearity as we had discussed. So k2 is multiplied to xi, phi is multiplied by minus 1, and then we add both the signals to get the output, which is k xi minus phi. And please remember that the g transfer function that you have, the output will be y and the input will be u, where u has to be equal to minus phi and y has to be equal to xi. Okay, so this is essentially going as an input, and you have this. So at the output of this summer, after negative, you get a phi minus k xi. So what you do is you take y as a feedback, multiply it with k2, and add it up here, and then you multiply it by a minus 1 gain, so that you get this. So the equivalent transformation that you have for the LTI system is again inside this red dashed box that we draw. So from here what you get is G tilde is equal to minus G by 1 plus K1 G. Okay. Now for the origin of the nonlinear system, uh, which is represented as the feedback interconnection of G and psi, to be exponentially stable, we need this G tilde to be SPR. So G tilde, this G tilde has to be strictly positive real. Okay. Need this to be strictly positive. So if you put this in a formal way, what we essentially see is origin of the feedback interconnection is exponentially stable for psi nonlinearity in the sector minus infinity to k1, where k1 is a finite negative constant. If the equivalent LTI, if the transformed LTI system G tilde, which is equal to minus G by 1 plus K1G, is strictly positive real. Okay, so minus G by 1 plus K1G is strictly positive real. So if you compare this with the case when psi was in the sector k1 to infinity, where k1 was a finite positive constant, you needed G tilde, which was in the form of 1 plus k1G, to be strictly positive real. But when k1 becomes negative and psi comes to lie in the sector minus infinity to k1, with k1 being negative, then in such a case G tilde, you notice the expression difference there. It's a minus sign that comes in now. Minus G by 1 plus k1G has to be strictly positive. Okay. What can happen when the nonlinearity is in the K20 sector, when K2 is negative? So the sector that we are talking of is essentially, so this is the straight line with the this is the straight line with the slope of k2, where k2 is negative, and we are talking of nonlinearities that are actually in this sector. Okay, so to highlight, this is the region that we are talking of. Okay, any nonlinearity lying in the yellow shaded region. So again, in this case, what we need to do is transform this nonlinearity to a zero infinity sector nonlinearity. So what we observe here is when phi is for phi being positive, we have k2 xi minus phi to be positive, and when phi is negative, you have k2 xi minus phi to be negative. So what you essentially have is k2 xi minus phi transpose phi is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so if I have, let's say, a nonlinear system psi tilde whose input is k2 xi minus phi and the output is phi, then in such a case this psi tilde belongs to the zero infinity sector. Okay, so the transformation that we are actually looking in is, if this is the original nonlinearity that you had with xi as the input and phi as the output, then the transform nonlinearity will essentially be the input is k2 xi minus phi, you take phi as the feedback and add it here. I would say there is a circle here, sorry. And, and then you take a k2 inverse. Right, so this is the transform nonlinearity that we are looking into. So the thing in the red dashed box is your transform nonlinearity psi tilde. Now if you see how this is applicable, so that we generate a equivalent system with nonlinearity lying in the zero infinity sector. So let's say that I have system G with psi as the nonlinearity, where psi is in the k2 0 sector, k2 being negative, then the equivalent system that we'll have has to be something of this form. Let's say this is psi, you want xi here, the output that you get is going to be phi, and we know the transform system. This is k2 inverse, then you have this, to which we add phi, and the input of the system has to be k2 xi minus phi. So we take this, this is u acting as an input to G, the output is y, you scale y by k2, you get k2y, and then add this u, and you actually get the input as k2 xi minus phi. So the equivalent system G tilde that you see here is what? It is 1 plus K2G. Okay, and for the origin of the feedback interconnection to be exponentially stable, you need this G tilde to be strictly positive real. Okay, so if we conclude this, we can say the origin of the feedback interconnection of the transfer function G and the nonlinearity lying in the K2 sector, where K2 is a negative finite constant, is exponentially stable if G tilde given by 1 plus K2G is strictly positive real. Okay, so this is again, if you compare this with the case when the nonlinearity was in the 0 K2 sector with K2 being a finite positive constant. In this case as well, we had G tilde to be 1 plus K2G, and we needed this to be strictly positive here. So whether it is the K2 sector with K2 being negative or 0 K2 sector with K2 being positive, the G tilde is of the form 1 plus K2G, and we need this G tilde to be strictly positive real. Okay. Finally, if the nonlinearity belongs to the K1 K2 sector, where you have either both of them being positive or K1 being positive and K2 being negative, or K1 and K2 both being negative, with the fact that K2 is always greater than K1, then in such a case, you all these will have the similar loop transformation as we had already seen for K1 K2 being positive, and hence the G tilde that you would get is going to be 1 plus K2G by 1 plus K1G, and we need this to be strictly positive real, so that the origin of the feedback interconnection of G is going to be strictly positive real. So to put this again in the form of a statement, we can say that the origin of the feedback interconnection of G and the nonlinearity psi lying in the K1 K2 sector for K1 K2 being positive finite constants, or K1 being a negative finite constant and K2 being a positive finite constant, or both of them being negative, is exponentially stable if g tilde is equal to 1 plus k2g by 1 plus k1g is strictly positive real. Okay, so what we have seen is for the nonlinearity lying in the K1 infinity sector, the expression for G tilde is same as the expression for the nonlinearity lying in the minus infinity to K1 sector, where K1 is negative. And similarly, we saw for the 0 K2 sector and K2 0 sector when K2 was positive and negative respectively, and similarly for K1 K2 sector. So the expressions are similar, which require G tilde to be strictly positive real. Now, what we need to explore is under such negative and positive slopes of K1 and K2, what are the regions to which G has to be confined to? So, what is the circle criterion say? So, to see this, how the circle criterion is going to be applicable when K1 is at least one of them is negative, we'll start with the positive cases because that is where it becomes easy to see. So what I'll do is I'll explain this using sketches and figures, and I'll show you how the circle keeps on changing when the constants start becoming negative or they transit from positive to negative values, and from there we'll try to conclude about the region to which the Nyquist plot of GS has to be confined to. And again, for all our discussions, we'll have GS to be such that all its poles are in the open left half plane. Okay. Uh, what I request you is you try to derive the conditions that we discuss here and see whatever we have discussed actually holds or not. So for the derivation, you can stick to the lecture prior to this on circle criterion where we introduced circle criterion, and we had used the angle theory to find out the circle criterion. So you can use that. So when psi was in the K1 K2 sector where K1 was K1 K2 were positive finite constants. So what we saw was we uh, in the real in the GS plane a circle with the diameter endpoints being minus 1 by K1 and minus 1 by K2. So this circle we needed to avoid the region that was there inside this circle, right? We needed to avoid this region, including the circle as well. So the G that we had should not lie or must not intersect this circle in any way. And again, to reiterate, we are talking of G has, so we are talking of seesaw systems. We are talking of systems where all poles are in open left half of the complex plane. Okay, so this is what we had. Now, as K1 decreased, okay, what happened? This minus 1 by K1 point moved further deep into the left. Okay, and the size of the circle kept on increasing. Now, when K1 became 0, we were looking at, so as K1 decreased and it became 0, we were looking at a sector which was of this form. And under such a condition, the circle now was a circle of infinite radius with the end point as K2. Okay, so this was, we were not touching the K2 value. The K2 was fixed and K1 was reduced, and K1 when became 0, this is the sector that we were talking of, and hence this is the line that we actually mentioned of, and we say that the transfer function G has to lie strictly to the right side of this vertical line. Okay, so the forbidden zone was essentially everything that we have to the left of this line, including the straight line itself, right? So this was the forbidden zone. I'll write it as fz. Fz is the forbidden zone. Okay, so this is what we wanted to avoid. So the G has to lie strictly onto the right of this particular forbidden zone. Now K1 has become 0. If you drop K1 further, what will happen? K1 will become negative. Now with K1 negative, so if K1 is negative, then minus 1 by K1 is positive. So it is going to lie on the right side of the imaginary axis on the real axis. Okay, so now what you will have is, you will again, so the moment K1 becomes non-zero but a negative number, you will again come back to a circle where the diameter endpoints are minus 1 by K1 and minus 1 by K2, with only change being minus 1 by K1 being a positive quantity now. So for psi tilde in the sector K1 K2, where K1 is negative and K2 is positive, this is minus 1 by K2, and let's say for some minus 1, some negative K1, minus 1 by K1 will lie here. Okay, so the circle that you will have is going to be this. Now remember, when the circle opened up, it became a straight line. We had a straight line, and everything to the left of the straight line, including the straight line, was forbidden. So the circle for K1 equal to 0 was basically a straight line. So that small circle, that the circle that you had on the left part, had actually opened up, and everything to the left of this straight line was the forbidden zone. Now when K1 became negative, the straight line that you had again curved out and curved onto the right hand side and closed to form a circle, with minus 1 by K1 point now lying on the positive part. So now the forbidden zone essentially happens to be everything outside this circle. In, of course, the circle's boundary is included, but the forbidden zone is everything that you have outside this circle. So the Nyquist plot of G cannot lie outside this circle or cannot intersect this circle. Okay, so the outer part of the circle is now the forbidden zone. So for cases when K1 is negative and K2 is positive, for G tilde equal to 1 plus K2G by 1 plus K1G to be SPR, strictly positive real, the Nyquist plot of G must strictly lie inside the circle. It cannot even intersect the circle. Okay, the outer region becomes forbidden. Fine. Now, in this case, once we have got a negative value of K1, let us say that we fix the value of k1. We will not change the value of k1 anymore. Okay, so where did we start from? We started from the case that we kept the value of k2 to be fixed at a positive value. We started dropping the value of k1. From positive it became 0. When it became 0, we had a straight line, and the left of the straight line became a forbidden zone. And now when the value of k1 was further decreased, it became negative, and so we got back our circle, but this time the forbidden zone is everything outside the circle. Okay, so and henceforth, you if k1 becomes more and more negative, the size of the circle will keep on shrinking. Okay, now let's say that we fix the value of k1 at a negative value and start with the value of k2 from some positive value. So let's say that we are starting from this circle. Now we'll decrease the value of k2. So as the value of k2, we remember that k2 is positive, and now we are decreasing the value of k2 towards 0. Okay, so as this happens, the circle increases in area, or say I'll say circle increases in size. Why? Because the diameter is increasing. So when k2 becomes 0, when k2 becomes 0, you are essentially looking into this particular sector. And what will happen to the circle now? Because k2 is 0, the circle will have infinite radius, which means you will essentially have a straight line passing through the minus 1 by k1 point and will be parallel to the imaginary axis. This is the real of G, this is the imaginary of G. Let's say this is the minus 1 by k1 point, and this is the circle has now transformed to a straight line passing through the minus 1 by k1 point parallel to the imaginary axis. And now if k2 becomes infinity and k2 becomes 0 and the circle opens up, what you essentially have, everything that was outside the circle now becomes the region that is lying to the right of this straight line. Okay, and this right side of the straight line becomes the forbidden zone. So the g tilde that you had, which was of the form of 1 plus k1g, where k1 is negative, is strictly positive real if the Nyquist plot of g strictly lies to the left of the straight line passing through the minus 1 by k1 point and parallel to the imaginary axis. Okay, now k2 has become 0. So if you further drop k2 will become negative. Okay, and let's say that we drop k2 such that k2 is still greater than equal to k1, but k1 and k2 both are negative. So what we are going to see now is a sector which is k1 k2 with both k1 and k2 being negative. So now what happens? The straight line that you had for k2 equal to 0, the moment k2 becomes negative, the straight line again closes up towards the right side and it will have again the diameter endpoints as minus 1 by k1 and minus 1 by k2, with minus 1 by k2 positive as well. Okay, so what you have, uh, sorry, this is not, this is 0. So this is the real of g, this is the imaginary of g. This was the minus 1 by k1 point, and now k2 has become negative. So this is the minus 1 by k2 point, and we have this circle. Now the forbidden zone that was lying to the right of the straight line passing through minus 1 by k1 point has now closed up. So this again translates to the fact that everything inside this circle becomes a forbidden zone. Okay, so this is the reason that becomes the forbidden zone. And so to have g tilde, which was of the form 1 plus k2 g by 1 plus k1 g, if you want this to be SPR when k1 k2 both are negative, then g must not intersect the circle. It must not intersect the circle. So you see here, when k1 k2 is positive or k1 k2 is negative, it is forbidden for g to intersect the circle or any part of g to lie inside the circle. So the g must not intersect the circle, or I should not say g, let me correct this. Then the Nyquist plot of, or I should say, parts of Nyquist plot of G must not be inside or on the circle. Okay. So in both cases, so when k1 k2 is positive are positive, or when k1 k2 are negative, the circle along with its inner region becomes the forbidden zone. So Nyquist plot of G, some parts of Nyquist plot of G cannot lie inside the circle or cannot lie on the circle. So that G tilde is strictly positive. The only thing is when K1, K2, both of them are positive, the circle lies on the left of the imaginary axis, and when K1, K2 are negative, the circle lies onto the right of the imaginary axis. But when K1 is negative and K2 is positive, then in such a case, the Nyquist plot of G must strictly lie inside the circle, because everything outside the circle becomes the forbidden zone. So when both have the same, when k1 k2 have the same signs, the inside of the circle becomes the forbidden zone. For positive sign, the circle lies on the left. For negative sign, the circle lies on the right. But when k1 is negative and k2 is positive, then the outside of the circle becomes the forbidden zone. So the Nyquist plot has to strictly lie inside the circle, so that the G tilde that you get is going to be strictly positive real. Okay. Similarly, when you are considering the region where uh, k1 is negative, and you are considering the sector from minus infinity to k1, then in such a case what you have is the forbidden zone to be the right of the straight line passing through the minus 1 by k1 point. And when sorry And then we had the case when both k1 and k2 are negative. Let's see if I have missed any, and then we'll include that as well. So you've seen the oh, there is a mistake that I have done. There is a mistake that I have done. um, this is what we are talking of, the k1 0 sector. Okay, when you are in the negative slope and zero sector, please correct this. This is the k1 0 sector, not so earlier I said that it is from minus infinity to k1 sector. Well, this this is this is wrong. This was the k1 0 sector for which we discussed. Okay, the nonlinearity lies in the k1 0 sector, where k1 is negative. Now we have um, the sector where k1 k2 both are negative. So to ease this, what I'll do is I'll just mark the nonlinearities as well, the sectors as well. So the first case when k1 k2 are positive, this is let's say k1, and this is k2. So this is k2, this is k1, uh, and the sector that we are concerned with is the yellow shaded region. Next is the sector which is 0 k2. So the yellow shaded region is under consideration. The next sector that we are talking of is when k1 is positive, sorry, when k1 is negative and k2 is positive. So k1 is, let's say, this, and this is k2. So the sector that we are talking of is everything inside this. The next sector that we are talking of is when k1 is negative and k2 is 0. So this is the sector that we are talking of, the yellow shaded region. And when k1 and k2 both are negative, then in that case This is K1. This is K2. And the sector that we are talking of is the yellow shaded region. The sector that we are talking of is the yellow shaded region that we have. This is the K1, K2 sector. And so we have covered everything except for one last sector, which is now what you see here is now with this sector with K1, K2 being negative, we add the circle on the right hand side and everything inside the circle and on the circle becomes the forbidden zone. Now let's say that with K1 being negative, we start dropping the K1 towards, we start making the K1 more and more negative. So what will happen? The size of this circle keeps on increasing. So the forbidden zone keeps on increasing. Now once K1 becomes minus infinity, one of the endpoint of the circle's diameter will come to lie on 0. Okay, so when your non-linearity is lying in the minus infinite K2 sector, where K2 is a finite negative constant, that essentially means uh, if you have xi as the input, phi as the output, and let's say K2 is this straight line has a slope of K2, then everything that lies in this region will any nonlinearity that lies in this yellow shaded region will be in the minus infinity K2 sector. Okay, so in such a case, what happens to the circle is this is the real of G. So you are at minus 1 by K2 and now K1 has become equal to minus infinite. So one of the endpoints of the circle will come to be 0. So the circle that you will have is essentially going to be a circle whose diameter endpoints are at 0 and minus 1 by K2. And uh, when K2 was when K1 was non-zero but negative, we had seen that the forbidden zone was lying inside the circle. As K1 kept on increasing towards as K1 kept on decreasing towards minus infinity, the size of the circle kept on increasing, and finally, when K1 was at minus infinity, the endpoint became 0. So the forbidden zone essentially still remains. The forbidden zone still remains as the region which is the circle itself and the region inside the circle. Okay, so this still remains the forbidden zone. Okay, so what we have is the G tilde, which was minus G by 1 plus K2G for this particular sector, is strictly positive real if the Nyquist lot of G does not touch if parts of, I will not see the Nyquist plot, if parts of Nyquist plot of G does not touch or lie inside the circle. So in such a case, G tilde will become strictly positive real for the given G. So there is a small correction that I need to make. This is because this is the K10 sector, the G tilde will be 1 plus K1G. Okay. So this is again a small, this is a correction that I would like to make. G has to be 1 plus K1. G tilde is 1 plus K1. It is not the other way. So now let us compare. When you had the 0 K2 sector, where when you had the 0 K sector where the slope was positive, everything to the left of the straight line passing through the point minus 1 by K was the forbidden zone. But when the sector is K0 where K is negative, then everything passing through the point then everything to the right of the straight line passing through the point minus 1 by K1 as shown becomes a forbidden zone. So the side changes. Okay. Similarly, when we were considering the K infinity sector, then everything inside the circle where K was positive, then everything inside the circle which had 0 as one of the diameter endpoints and minus 1 by K as the diameter endpoint was essentially a forbidden zone. Everything inside that circle, including the circle, right? And this is when K is positive. But when K is negative and we are looking into the minus infinite K sector, which is here, K is negative and we are looking into the minus infinity K sector. In that case, again, you still have everything inside the circle as a forbidden zone, with 0 being one of the diameter endpoints. But in this case, the circle lies onto the right of the imaginary axis, and when K was positive for the K infinity sector, the circle was on the left of the imaginary axis. Okay, so this is how the circle criterion gets modified as the sign of the slopes k1 and k2 change from positive to negative, and hence the region in which G needs to confine itself so that the corresponding G tilde is strictly positive real is defined. Okay. So, as I had said at the beginning of the lecture, we had seen this in terms of the sketches as the sign of the K1 sign of the slopes changes from positive to 0 to negative, how the forbidden zone change. Okay, what I suggest is you to try proving that these are actually the forbidden zones when the signs of the slopes are as described here. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you.